Joe in Pompton Lakes. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike, I got a proposal for the trade, but from a point of need. So we need DeGrom, so that's who we're looking for. And the Mets need a first baseman, an outfielder, a catcher. We have all three of those start for the Mets. You give them Austin Romine, Clint Frazier, Tyler Austin. Then you give them Neil Walker as a bench player to take the place of Reyes. I think it's a win. They fill a lot of slots. They get younger. We get DeGrom.
It's not crazy, but I think it's hard to say what will be the trigger for the Mets. What player will be the trigger, other than, of course, Torres? Would Andujar be enough for them to be a trigger? Because the one thing is, Andujar has at least, where Frazier hasn't done it here, Andujar has at least shown here that he's got a really live bat. We know that already. I mean, we've seen that already in him. So he's got a future. We know that. And you've seen some of that from Austin, although Austin's numbers are not great. He does hit home runs. He strikes out a ton of times. And he does not have a full resume yet. Andujar is showing you a resume. He really is. Jack and Deal. What's up, Jack?
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Do you think that the Yankees would make the playoffs every year without Torres?
Well, they absolutely could, but that's a player they can build around for a long time.
I understand, but if you make it to the playoffs every year and you have DeGrom, Severino, and Tanaka, I mean, aren't you almost guaranteed to win a championship every year?
No, you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed no matter how many guys you have. You're not guaranteed anything.
But putting so much chips on Torres, don't we have 5-6 guys in the minor leagues that could take exactly his place?
No, him, no. Yeah, just like you wouldn't trade Judge, I don't think they would trade Torres. I think they think Torres is going to be there for an incredible amount of time. I think they feel like he's going to be a special player. Just like they know Judge is going to be a special player. And everyone can calm down about Judge because of one game. I mean, it was one game. One day, I should say. Ellie in Lakewood. What's up, Ellie? Ellie going once? Go ahead, Ellie.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, Mike?
What's up?
Just before I make my points, your Twitter follow is amazing. I just love following you on Twitter these days.
Oh, thanks. What's up?
I didn't call about the trade, but as a Met fan, I would take Andujar and Sheffield. But nothing less than that. Anyway, I'm calling more about the baseball maverick himself and Peter Alonso. Let's start with the baseball maverick. I mean, this guy went into the off season. He made like 7 or 8 moves, and he struck out on every single one. His idea of signing mediocre players, and even came out yesterday in the media and said, well, we're not going to rebuild. This is the type of players I want to sign. He goes into the bullpen and signs guys. He announces he's only signing relievers for 2 years. So every good reliever is getting 3 or 4 years. He has Peter Alonso, Mike, in the minors. I mean, Eddie C. said there's no one knocking on the door. This guy is ripping up Double-A, and he's going to be 24 after this year.
Yep.
He's definitely ready. Why isn't he up yet?
I think he's probably. I haven't seen him yet. Now, we've all heard about him, and I don't know if he's.
I've been following Mike for years, Mike.
Yes, and I've heard his name mentioned many times, and they talk about him being a power hitter. If he's 24, and I'll take your word that you say he's 24.
23. He's going to be 24
okay.
after the season.
I would say he's ready. Now, usually they want him to go spend a little time in AAA before he comes up. I don't know why he hasn't done that yet.
Mike, but
what are his numbers this year exactly?
This year he's hitting 340 and with like 413 homers, Mike. I mean, Adrian Gonzalez is the worst productive first baseman in baseball.
If he's hitting 340, if he's hitting 340 and he's got 13 home runs, they should have already elevated him to AAA. Is he doing that well?
316, 14 home runs.
316, 14 home runs. And what is his exact age, Alfonso? Peter Alonso, what's his exact age? So, hey, I would say I'm surprised he hasn't been elevated to AAA yet. I mean, I would move him along. I would think you would move him along.
On base 450.
I've never seen him. I mean, I've heard them talk about him, but I've never seen him play. I've never even seen a video of him. What is his height and weight? What size guy is he?
6'3", 250.
He's a big man. That's what I thought. He's 250?
245.
You got video of him there? Any video?
I'm sure. Yeah, I could find video.
I'd like to see what he looks like. I'd like to see, is he lumbering as a defensive player? I haven't seen him. I thought he was a big man. Clearly he's got power. We know that. Got to be a reason why they don't think he's ready.
Walks, too.
Oh, yeah, obviously he's got a 400 on-base percentage. Jack in Lakewood, I would think they would put him in the AAA already and let him move up. Jack, what's going on?
Yeah, Mike, what do you say to Chris Russo calling you a horse's fanny?
Chris Russo calling me a what?
He said you look like a horse's fanny because you came back at the WFAN.
I never heard him say that. He never said that to me.
Oh, he said it on his show pretty clearly.
Oh, he did today?
No, when you came back, he said that you look like a horse's fanny for coming back.
He didn't say that. I mean, I've seen him, and he hasn't said that to me.
Well, you can go listen. He said it.
That doesn't. It's okay with me. I'm not worried about what he says. You think you're going to start a fight between us? Is that the idea? I'm doing fine. I'm not worried about what he's doing. He shouldn't be worried about what I'm doing. You know? And, I mean, that's okay. I don't know that Dog said that. I mean, I've talked to Dog. He hasn't said anything to me about it. He was up. You know, Dog and I did a couple things together. He never even mentioned it to me. So, you know, he knew I was coming back. And I think he understands the reasons about why I came back. But if he's not, I'm not worried about it. The results are in the pudding. We'll see how everything shakes out. We'll let everything shake out and see how it all shakes out, guys. If you think you're going to come on and start a fight between me and Dog, you're not. I think you guys come on. You got to have more important things in the day to do than that, because it's not going to work. I don't care what he says. He can say whatever he wants. I'm fine with it. And if he has something to say, he can say it to me. I don't care if he says it. It's okay. I'm not going to be annoyed by it either. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's just fine. It means very little one way or the other. But I haven't heard that from him, and I've seen him. D-Lo in Monroe, what's up?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
What's happening?
First of all, welcome back.
Thank you. What's up?
Very quick with the Mets. Obviously, you just mentioned Alonso kid. If he's got 14 homers, then my only question is, why is he up? Because I'll get to the point with Dal Smith. Dal Smith had a chance in the offseason to come to spring training. He unfortunately was overweight, and all of a sudden he got injured, and then was led to Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, listen, I would think they don't think if he's in Double-A and he's doing what he's doing there, and they need players, and he hasn't been elevated or even been moved to AAA, I don't think they think he's ready. Otherwise, he would be here. He's not young. I would think they would bring him up and let him play. If he's good, they should bring him up and let him play. He's not a baby. He's 23 years old. I've heard them mention him before. I don't know what kind of defensive player he is. I can't answer to that. I've never even laid eyes on him. I didn't see him at spring training, and I haven't seen him play. So, you know, and they haven't talked him up that much either, to be honest with you. You know, I don't know why. Why would he not already be at AAA? I'm not sure. Keith in the Bronx, what's up, Keith?
Hey, Mr. Francesa, great show.
What's happening?
I know Cashman loves him more than most fans, so it's probably not going to happen. But why don't you think we hear more of a push for the Yankees to trade Gary Sanchez? And can we start that movement?
Oh, I don't think they're trade. First of all, why would you want to trade Sanchez? I don't understand.
You got two catchers, and you know you got to give up something to get something. Do you think Sanchez would have more value than Gleyber in a trade?
Well, wait a second. But where do you think you're replacing a catcher who hits like him?
You're not looking. You don't need his bat. You got enough right-handed power in this lineup.
Well, why would you give away that advantage though? They have an enormous advantage with him catching. You realize that?
They have an advantage on the offensive side of the ball.
Enormously.
I mean, we've talked about Sanchez and Romine before, and obviously, you know,
yeah, and you're going on the premise that Romine is now a hitter, which you don't know. I mean, you don't.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. He's a very serviceable catcher, even if he hits 250 with less power than what he's shown. He's a serviceable starter, and I just, you know, you got to give up something to get something. I think Sanchez as a piece for a Bumgarner or, you know, a top level pitcher is more realistic than an Andahar or a guy in the minors. It makes it a serious offer when you put Gary Sanchez in there.
Are you trying to tell me you would rather trade Sanchez than Sanchez than Andujar?
No, but I'd rather trade Sanchez than Gleyber, and I hear a lot of calls. You know,
well, I would listen.
Gleyber out there.
I would not trade Gleyber under any circumstances. So he's off limits. But I would not trade Sanchez.
If it's those two, if the
I'm not. I just told you that they're both the Sanchez, Judge, and Torres are all off limits.
A different Yankees question for you,
Yes.
kind of random, but they drafted a two-way player with their first-round pick, and with the push they made for Ohtani, do you get the sense that that's something Cashman wants to make happen, to bring a two-way player here?
Well, a two-way player on the level you're talking about is not a real two-way player.
The guy they drafted, I mean, that's his pedigree. He's an ambidextrous two-way player, and obviously they really wanted Ohtani.
Two-way player in regard of that he's ambidextrous, a two-way player that he can play both positions and pitch.
Well, the kid they drafted is both. He's a catcher and a pitcher, and he's ambidextrous.
Well, first of all,
cool.
Nobody is ever going to be a catcher and a pitcher. It's never going to happen.
He'd wind up a DH.
You'll never be a catcher and a pitcher. That will never happen. You will never do both on a team, ever. Yeah, you might be a position player and a pitcher, but you will never be a catcher and a pitcher. That will never happen. So if his position's catcher, listen, position catcher is the fastest way to the major leagues. At any time, anywhere, it is the fastest way to the major leagues is through being a catcher. That's it. It's an expressway if you're good. Back after this.